What's up, Freak Nation? Cole Cusumano here with Michael McDowell here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, coming down to the end of the 2025 season. Michael, first off, thank you so much for your time today. Back on the West Coast, not quite your home in Arizona, but I did learn from someone that you might have called Vegas your home at some point briefly.
I did, yeah. It was very briefly, but I raced go-karts out of here for Bo Heron and MTC. It was right down the strip here, and worked at the go-kart shop there and then raced out of there. So I don't know how long my brother and I were here. It was probably a year or two, and I would kind of go back and forth from Phoenix to here in the racing season. You know, karting for a lot of it was during the summer, so I wasn't full-time out here. I did live out here in an apartment with my brother for probably 6 or 7 months, and yeah, so kind of the West Coast. You know, I moved around from Lodi, California to Livermore, Sacramento, Vegas, Phoenix, and then Charlotte, so kind of been all around.
Now, this is your first time in 8 years with a new team. How has it been being the new kid on the block, but also like a mentor to like these young guys in Carson and Justin here in 2025?
Yeah, I'm definitely not the mentor, but it's been fun. I mean, I think that we've accomplished a lot this year. Not all the goals that we've wanted to accomplish, like winning, but we got good speed. We're building a good program. I'm happy with the decision. I'm happy with the direction we're going. You always want more. I mean, you as a driver and as a race team, it's all based on winning on Sunday, and we haven't done that. But I feel good about where the program's going, and confident in what we can do, for the remainder of this year, and to get into next season.
And now, tons of speed in 2025. Just clicked off your third top 5 of the season. That's actually a career best for you in a single season, I just learned. So what have you seen? Where have you seen the most growth in the organization from the off season to now race 33 in 2025?
I think a lot of it's just getting the processes, getting to know each other, getting, for me, an understanding of the car, and the Chevy is quite a bit different than what I've had in the past. And the things that I used to target from a feel standpoint, all that changed a little bit, and I didn't think it would. When you think about standardized pieces and you think about quote unquote a spec car, you would think a lot of that would be the same, and it hasn't. So that was a bit of a surprise early on, but now I've kind of been able to build that continuity with what I need on the track and simulation and tools and what those changes look like overnight, and we're starting to hit more consistently. I feel like in the beginning of the year we would have speed and then we'd run 30th. We'd have speed and then we'd run 30th, and now we're starting to streak together some good finishes. So I feel good about that. I wish it didn't take as long as it did. That's disappointing and frustrating. But that's realistic, right? It's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard to make changes, and I feel like we're right on the verge of putting it all together consistently.
You mentioned some disappointments and frustrations, but it's been a really good year, numbers-wise in some areas. So I guess, would you say that you've met expectations where you wanted to be entering this season? Are you ahead of schedule, behind? Like, what's your headset at for that?
I mean, the only way I can answer that is that we haven't met our expectation. The expectation was to win a race. We didn't do that. Make the playoffs. We didn't do that. So I don't feel like we've met our expectations. I think we're on track, though, as far as our speed and our growth as a team, to be able to do that in the future. It's racing. It's how it goes. There's been races we could have won. There's been races that Carson could have won. And so we put ourselves in those positions. We just haven't finished it off. We haven't executed perfectly to do that, and that's what you have to do in the Cup Series. So I'm proud of the speed. I feel like we brought the speed. I feel like we have done that throughout the season, but we got to do it more consistently, and we got to finish.
And I want to go back to what you said a few moments ago. You mentioned that transition from Ford to Chevrolet this year. How would you compare where Spire is right now to where you left FRM last year? Is it pretty comparable?
Well, that's tough because, at the end of last year, it was difficult because we were cut off the information because, Travis and I were leaving and we weren't getting sim time. And so I feel like at Front Row last year, at the end, it kind of dipped off a little bit. But that isn't anything other than there was a transition with us leaving. I mean, we had all hoped that wouldn't have happened, but it did. And that's not anybody's fault. That's just kind of natural how it goes. So I don't feel like for us, I feel like we picked up kind of pretty even. And so I don't feel like I don't think it's dipped. I think we're kind of on par to where maybe we were at best at Front Row, and there's still opportunity to grow more.
awesome. I got to go back here for a second. You mentioned Carson. He's been a big story this year as far as headlines, running up front and all that fun stuff. What's that rapport and that relationship been like with this young hotshot in the Cup Series as your teammate?
Yeah, we're very different. We are very different, but we get along well. We don't speak the same language at times, and we go about our business differently, just how we prepare and all that. But our relationship has grown. I enjoy Carson a ton. I think he has a bright future. He's super fast. He's pushed me really hard to be better. Not him like literally pushing me, but just the fact of the speed that he has pushed me to dig deeper and find more. And so I love that part of it. And he's done a great job, honestly, over the last 4 or 5 months of helping out on the areas where I felt like we needed help as a group, and for him as a driver. And so maybe there is a little bit of mentorship there of like, hey, it's not just about going fast, but it's about pushing the program and getting us to the next level. And man, I need you. I need your help in that. And this is how we have to go about it. And we go about it differently, but I feel like he's done that. He's been super engaged lately in the areas that we need him to be engaged. And so, yeah, he's got a bright future. He's going to be doing this way longer than I am. I'm proud to see with just how well they've run. But he knows too. He's got to win too. I have to win. We both have to. And so we have to get better. And in order to do that, we got to push each other and help each other.
Sounds like a great dynamic there. A few more questions for you here. Obviously, big news this week. More horsepower coming.
Yeah.
2026. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it'll change the competition at all?
So here's what I'll say. I think NASCAR's doing a good thing. This is what drivers have asked for. This is what fans have asked for. I understand. I wish it was more, and I understand why they can't do more. But I want to manage fans' expectations too. This is not a big change. It's going to be a good change. I think Goodyear has done a great job with the tire. We're not 100% where we want to be, but like what we saw at the Roval, there's 4 or 5 seconds of fall off and strategy. If we keep doing that and we add horsepower, I think that there's a good chance that we can make some really good races. And so I like it. I like the move. I just want to manage everybody's expectations. This isn't a game changer. Mm-hmm. We're not going from 700 to 1,000. It's just enough to hopefully add some tire wear and add some maneuverability. And I think at the road courses, I think at like Richmond, Martinsville, those places will be fun. Hopefully we can spin the tires a little bit more. But I feel like those races have gotten better this year. I felt like Richmond was a fun race. It was a good race. Martinsville, I think, is still one of those ones where fans, when they watch it, they think it's lead and follow. But from a driver standpoint, you are working hard, and it's a busy day. I'm biased. I like the cars. I like how they drive. It suited my style, so it's a little bit selfish. Yeah, it's good changes, though.
Nice. Like the transparency there. I agree with the Goodyear stuff, too. It's been awesome this year. 2 more here, finally, on your home track in Phoenix. As we all know, final year for now for the championship race. How would you assess how they've done in the 5 years to this point as the championship race? Has it been a success in your eyes? Would you want it to come back at some point? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure it's been a success. I mean, I think that the track has done a great job. I mean, it's been a sold-out crowd. It's great promotion. They do a great job in the city. Timing is everything, right? And so with the upgrades that they made to the facility and the timing of getting, the championship race, I think it all worked out. Look, it's no secret. The next-gen car at Phoenix has been a challenge, right? Mm-hmm. But I also feel like we've seen some good races. I like it moving around. Not because I don't want it in Phoenix. I like it moving around because I feel like we've seen teams and drivers get really, really good at one spot. In order to make it, you got to be good everywhere. But man, you don't want to let Jimmy Johnson get to Homestead, right?
Right.
You don't want to let Joey Logano or Ryan Blaney get to Phoenix. I think as that mixes up, that's going to be cool. And I don't know what the future is. I don't know how many years, but I would love for it to change every year. I would. I don't know if that's how it's going to work or not, but seeing it end at different spots, I think is really cool. And it does a lot for that area too, like for the sport. You think about these areas that we go to. Sometimes we're the only show that comes there, and it's a big deal. And so I hope that it keeps moving around, because I think that it would give you a more diversified champion. I don't know what the new point system is going to be. I don't know if there's changes coming. There's a lot of unknowns, but it'll help mitigate, hopefully, some of that when it does come. But yeah, it's been exciting. I wish that I was racing for championships and not, just watching it. But as a fan, the playoffs the last few years have been phenomenal. I mean, just crazy. When you think about Blaney and Reddick, the last lap at Homestead, that's wild, and Denny was in that mix. You think about, Ross and the Hail Melon at Martinsville to get in, and you think about like Joey must win after getting in because Bowman was light. And I know I race, right? And I know I'm not supposed to be a fan, but as a fan, it's been awesome the last few years, like really, really cool. And so I know that, there's a lot of opinions, but I think that it's been, a compelling story, and I think this year is the same. And, the champions have been the right champions, and I think that moving forward in the sport, it's important to keep that. And yeah, so I'm excited.
That's so cool. I love to hear your disconnect too, like being a fan between being a driver and the playoffs and how that's worked out. Final question for you here. We also learned that IndyCar is doing a double header at Phoenix in March of next year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I know you have some background open wheel racing. Is that something that you would welcome as a NASCAR driver, having that crossover and maybe even competing in it yourself?
Hey, that would be great. We got the right people for it too with the TWG group, with our friends at Andretti. So I don't know. I think I'm probably too old and too fat for an IndyCar at this point. It's been 20 years, but I still love it. I love watching Formula One. I love watching IndyCar, even sports cars. That's a part of my history too. And so yeah, it'd be great to do some of those things. If I was going to do it, I would want to do Indy though. Honestly, it's always been a dream of mine. We're definitely running out of time, but. If I had the opportunity, that would be the one I would want to take.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Michael. Cole Cusumano, Michael McDowell, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Enjoy, freaks.